What to do to survive inflation as an ordinary people. What is inflation? Let's explain this with a simple example for ordinary non-financial languages. The central banks keep printing out money, raising the interest rate. The bank will charge more from the company, and the company charge more for the consumer like you and me. This ripple effect eventually affects everyone. That's why you see a beautiful baguette on the shelf. You want to take it home. The same amount of money you used to buy one baguette, but now you can only buy 3/2 of that baguette. There is the reason why the bills keep piling up. But you ask, why the baguette? Because everyone loves it, but seriously, how could we avoid this inflation? Avoiding inflation completely is impossible, but there may be some things you can do to minimize its effect on your finances. So sit tight and keep watching, you'll find out. 1. Find ways to lower your expenses. Now that the cost of living is going up, you might be able to help offset some of this by looking more closely at your bills and cutting what you don't need. Take a look at your bills and see if there are any areas where you can cut expenses and negotiate for lower rates or switch providers. Revisiting your insurance coverage could also unlock sizable savings. List for your reference that you can start to get your hands dirty. Recurring subscriptions, for example. Who needs Netflix and chill? It's time to say goodbye. Phone, it's the right time to switch to a flip phone. Internet, car insurance, home insurance. Meal planning is a simple way to get better at grocery shopping. Look at your calendar and plan for the nights you'll be home and the days you will need to bring lunch to work or school. You are what you eat, so a well-balanced meal preparation can also be beneficial. Reconsider large expenses. Hold your thoughts first and wait for at least 2 to 3 months, and don't make impulsive decisions. I repeat, don't make impulsive decisions, especially not for big purchases. If you still need the new thing, maybe you should buy it, but rather not. You probably 85% don't need it. Time will curb your consumption desires. 2. Maintain a diversified portfolio of income. First thing, ask for a raise from your employer, but do keep in mind the success ratio for this one is usually a lost cause, but give it a shot. Second, switch into a producer mindset and try to develop some side gigs out of work. With everything costing more, we're all going to feel like we need more money. Fortunately, with the internet, that's easier than it ever was. Fact is, work has already taken so much time of the week. A manageable side hustle requires less time investment of your week, probably ideal. Try to implement them little by little, then as time goes by you'll find out if it's working for you or not. The last thing you want to do is only do the talking instead of taking action. So, for more ideas, you definitely should check out another video in which I talked more detail about switching to a producer mindset. 3. Emergency fund is a must. Besides planning for the future with investments, one of the best ways to protect your finances is to always have reserve funds in case the worst happens. An emergency fund does not directly protect you from inflation. It can help you prepare for any unforeseen changes in your budget due to fluctuations in the price of goods or services. For example, if grocery costs surge due to market conditions, it could affect your monthly budget. Having an emergency fund in place could give you breathing room until you have a chance to revise your budget. If you haven't built your emergency fund until now, you're really kinda late to the game. But it's okay, nobody is perfect, go do it right now. And by the way, if this video brings value in any shape or form to you so far, slightly tap on the like button. This will so help me beat the algorithm. Review your budget. It's only natural that budgeting should be the first step to overcoming financial troubles. In reality, few of people have an actual budget, just spending whatever comes in and then wondering how to get through until the next month. But with the inflation going on, anyone doing that will find it harder and harder to make it balance well. Budgeting at least provides you with an idea of how much money you can expect to spend on each category of expenses. In light of the rising cost of living, it's crucial that we set up a budget with some additional funds. This means there will be some spending room available, meaning we won't need to allocate too much of our income. That way, when prices rise, we're well prepared. This is never fun and can, in fact, could be quite stressful, causing fights between couples as they disagree on priorities. But it's still much easier before things get out of hand. 5. Set proper expectations for this hardship. First, it's important to differentiate between inflation that is short-lived and inflation that lasts over a longer period. Short-lived inflation can often be attributed to supply and demand issues that drive competition and temporarily raise prices. Lasting inflation is more gradual and based on a wider variety of factors. With the current global economic and supply chain plus war going on, according to several recent economic forecasts, it probably will last for a while. Another thing worth to point out, how long the Great Recession lasted in 2008. The Great Recession was spurred on by a toxic combination of banks offering mortgages to unqualified people and mortgage-backed government-backed securities? The answer is more than 18 months, which ended around June 2009. Most experts agree that this recession will not be as severe as the one experienced in 2008. According to reliable sources, every 13.5 years there will be a financial crisis. The last time was in 2009. It's time to grab a calculator. The math does add up. What about the future? Don't say I didn't try to warn you. See you in 2035. In conclusion, there's no way to know at this point just how bad inflation is going to get, but if the government was measuring inflation the same way that they were back before, the actual inflation rate would be much higher %. With that being the case, it's plenty bad enough and could become dangerous. That is exactly why we need to take action before that happens. By landing on this video, I hope you have a better idea of how to survive this long cold winter. It's gonna be a long one. So, yup, it's just wonderful. Time to insert a smart dude wisdom.
Never complain of that of which it is at all times within your power to rid. Adam Smith. Adam Smith 1723 to 179 was a Scottish economist and philosopher who was a pioneer in the thinking of political economy and key figure during the Scottish Enlightenment. Seen by some as the father of economics or the father of capitalism, he wrote two classic works, The Theory of Moral Sentiments and An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. The latter, often abbreviated as The Wealth of Nations, is considered his magnum opus and the first modern work that treats economics as a comprehensive system and as an academic discipline. Smith refuses to explain the distribution of wealth and power in terms of God's will, and instead appeals to natural, political, social, economic, and technological factors and the interactions between them. Among other economic theories, the work introduced Smith's idea of absolute advantage. Smith studied social philosophy at the University of Glasgow and at Balliol College, Oxford, where he was one of the first students to benefit from scholarships set up by fellow Scot John Snell. As a consequence, he is hailed globally as the founder of modern economics. Remarkable though this reputation is, there was more to Adam Smith than a single book. His importance as a moral philosopher is now far better understood through recent study of the theory of moral sentiments. His other works, On the Nature of Justice, Science, and the Expressive Arts, are also recognized as major contributions to Enlightenment thought. There is also far more to the man than the selective use of the more contentious passages of The Wealth of Nations might suggest. As his other works show, Smith did not simply believe in the primacy of man's selfishness or in the purity of free markets. The ideas he explores and the conclusions he draws are far more complex, realistic, and humane.
By the way, if you're interested in supporting this channel, I have a Redbubble down below. I'm not bragging or anything, but I make some awesome designs, of course, something you've seen in the video or in the shop. So check it out. Thank you for watching. For more content like this, please consider like and subscribe. It's not a pyramid scheme, I can assure you that.